Hi, everybody. I hope you are doing fantastic. It is Thursday, August 31st, where I'm coming at you live. My name is Jen Ochnen. I am a former run on Duncan gal turned integrative health practitioner. And I'm bringing you 30 days of wellness inspired lives here on LinkedIn. And today is actually episode 14. I can't believe it. So, one more, and I will be halfway through. So this has been an absolutely amazing experience. Number one, because I'm getting over my fear of going live. And number two, it's just been so fun to have people pop on and be able to ask questions live or comment and see where everybody is. So today, a little bit of a different topic. I titled the broadcast "How to De-Stress to Drop 2 Gene Sizes and Feel Fabulous," because I'm all about feeling fabulous, obviously. But so many people normalize stress and its impacts. And stress can be good, right? Stress can be good. You're feeling a little stressed, going out on a date, meeting somebody new for the first time, going into a job interview. It can help you feel prepared, right? You can train your brain to recognize those symptoms of stress as a positive thing versus a negative thing, right? What I'm talking about, though, is chronic stress, right? Chronic stress because our bodies, on an evolutionary perspective, have not evolved enough to really make sure that we can keep up with the pressure of these day-to-day lives. Suzanne Spanner. Yes, I know Suzanne Spanner. She's a very, very good friend of mine. Hi, Suresh. Thanks for joining. So when we think about all the stress that we have going on, right? You get up in the morning, you're getting the kids ready, you're maybe taking a first conference call, you're getting to work, or you're logging in, making sure from at least your waist up that you look presentable, right? If you're on a Zoom, you've got appointments. It's the beginning of the school year. I saw a post, I think it was Megan Riley who put the post up, thinking about all the things that her and her husband had to do to get kids ready for school. We're checking teachers and checking activities and signing up for after school events. And the list was endless. So for all my parents out there that are sending kiddos off to a school years, I'm praying for you. You've got my blessings. I'm sure it'll be amazing. And hopefully, if you're in the South anyway, you've been back for a couple of weeks now. And so you should be kind of getting into the swing of things. I grew up in the Northeast, so we never went back to school until after Labor Day. So I digress. But what I'm saying is that we have to stop normalizing chronic stress because it does untold things to our body and really can put us in danger for a lot of different things. The big three, right? And the big three killers, when we talk about heart disease, stroke, diabetes, stress has a massive impact on all of these things. Your mood, your relationships, how you can gain or lose weight, right? Who hasn't stress eaten, right? Who hasn't stress eaten? I sure have, right? So, but whenever you stress eat, right, obviously you're not picking a healthy thing. You could be stressing it on pizza or ice cream or candy or something, whether it's sweet, salty, whatever it is. Stress has got some amazing benefits, but some amazing drawbacks when we're not balancing it. So I'm going to take you through a couple of slides today to share with you. Basically, this is part one of a 3-part series. This is a breakout of really a presentation that I gave earlier in the year. It was my first ever new masterclass that I had done in years. So today, we're going to talk about hormones. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about blood sugar. And tomorrow's Friday. And then Monday, we're going to talk about thyroid. Though if I can fit thyroid in tomorrow, I'll finish it tomorrow. Because we have to understand that if you're constantly putting your body through all the stress and not giving it a chance to relax, you're just making certain systems of your body work so much harder than they need to. So much harder. So let me give you an example. I just had a client. Her name is Kat. She is a nurse here in the Atlanta, Georgia area. And she came to me because she'd been really struggling for several years to lose weight. And when we started talking, she's a nurse. First of all, I think we can all understand the amount of stress that our healthcare professionals have been under the last few years, right? And thank you, thank you, thank you for all that you do. But Kat was really suffering with this stress. It was making her maybe not hungry during the day, and then she wouldn't have time to eat because she would be so busy. And then towards when she was getting home at night, she would just binge eat, and she felt exhausted. She felt terrible. Her weight was stuck. And even when she started to try to make some healthy changes, the scale was not budging at all. And she really couldn't understand why. So when I explained to her what I'm going to be sharing with y'all in a few minutes, really the impact that stress can have, it started to make a lot of sense. And so using the principles of my program, we were able to make a massive change for Kat. And during her last meeting with me, her kind of wrap up coaching session, what she said is that she went to her doctor. And her doctor's like, do you realize that the last time I saw you for your last appointment, you were 30 pounds heavier? Okay, that's amazing. He totally wanted to know what she had been doing. So she told him all about my program. And also, Kat had been at risk for having to go on high blood pressure medication, which anytime you have to go into any sort of medication, no matter if it's quote unquote common, there's always side effects. You always have to strongly consider what's going on. And so if you can control and fix the issue by healthy lifestyle habits versus going on a prescription drug, absolutely you should. Right. So first of all, let's give it up for Kat, right? Her blood sugar, her blood pressure, when they took it, it was down to like 119/20 or something, 119/17, which for her was like perfect. People always talk about 120/80, but she was just a little bit less. I'm actually the same way. So her doctor was just so impressed. She was so happy. She's got great habits now. She's eating so much better. She's so much more knowledgeable, and she really feels like she's in control of things, right? So just absolutely fantastic. And a huge part of Kat's turnaround was me helping her understand what stress was doing to her body, which we'll go into in a second, and then creating healthy habits to make sure that she was giving her body a break from that chronic stress, right? So fantastic, so fantastic. So yay for Kat, so fantastic. If you're watching this on the replay today, it is August 31st. I am talking about how to de-stress, to drop 2 jean sizes and to feel fabulous, because Kat, one of the things she told me, she absolutely had to go out and buy new clothes, new jeans, new bras and underwear, all the good things because of her fantastic success. So let's go ahead and get into this. So let's see, I'm going to add a presentation here to the stream. Let me see if I can get to the right page here. I'm not going to go through all these slides. But really, when you think about it, most women, when they come to me, right, they're exhausted. They're waking up frequently. They're getting up tired. They have weight gain. I say it can be 5 to 10 pounds. It can even be more. A lot of them are starting to experience maybe that meadow belly. Most everyone, because of stress, is having late night cravings. And then they could also be in the midst of hormonal chaos, or the starting point of it, where you can't concentrate. You can't remember things. You have hot flashes, and you feel like you're losing yourself. Like this quote here, I don't recognize the woman in the mirror. I just want to feel like myself again, right? Just not a way to be. If you are unfamiliar with perimenopause or menopause, like, did anyone here, do you admit to not ever really even knowing what the word was? Like, I had never heard about it. But perimenopause starts about 10 years before menopause, and there's a whole list of symptoms that can be attributed to it. And when you're controlling your stress, you absolutely positively impact your hormonal behavior. and your hormonal balance in your body, right? Because your hormones and are really responsible for regulating those processes that are responsible for when you feel hungry and when you feel full, and how when you eat, you're breaking down that food and you're turning it into energy that can be used by your cells, right? So just absolutely so important to be able to get a handle on that. And I'm going to go through and we're going to go right to here. Okay. And because what I'm going to talk about here is stress, right? This is something called that happens, and it's called the cortisol steal. And it's called a steal, and it leads to something called HPA axis dysfunction. Okay. Has anybody ever heard of that? HPA axis dysfunction? Go ahead and give me a plus sign or thumbs up. And even if you're watching this on the replay, I want to know, because as you comment throughout this, I'm going to, of course, see the comments on the live when it's posted, and I will go ahead and answer them. So first of all, let's talk about pregnenolone. Okay. Pregnenolone is known as the mother of all hormones. Okay. So pregnenolone is basically the source from which your hormones that are from your sex pathway and your stress pathway are created. And again, this is a very simplistic diagram. I'm not going to get too nerdy or too sciencey with you, but I just really want you to understand kind of what's going on here. So under normal conditions, right, when you're feeling good, your pregnenolone is used to give equal amounts to both of the pathways so that you create the right amount of DHEA, you create the right amount of testosterone, you're creating the right amount of estrogen, progesterone, and then cortisol, right? Because cortisol isn't a bad hormone, right? No hormones are bad. It's just insulin's not bad. I talked about that last week with blood sugar management. Insulin's not bad. Cortisol isn't bad either. If you didn't have the right levels of cortisol, you'd never be able to get up in the morning, right? Cortisol is the yin to melatonin, another hormone's yang. They work together, right? Cortisol helps you get up in the morning, wake up out of sleep, have the energy that you need. Whereas then as the cortisol level drops, your melatonin level rises, right? To help you fall asleep. So when everything's working together and your nervous system is feeling good, your central nervous system, everybody gets the right amount. Everybody is happy and balanced. And that's what we want. Now, you say you find yourself in a stressful situation, right? Start commenting some stressful situations here that you're encountering day to day, right? You've got a deadline coming up that you're not ready for. Your school calls, you have to go pick up your kid and you're just getting ready to go into a big meeting, right? Or maybe your parents call and they tell you that, look, something's going on. They have to go see the doctor. They need you to come with them. This is all too common, right? This is the things that we're juggling with. This is life. So when that happens, we've got our central nervous system and, we've got our sympathetic nervous system and we've got our parasympathetic nervous system. And our sympathetic nervous system side is going to rev us up into fight or flight. I think we've all heard that, right? Fight or flight, your body starts flooding cortisol and it's preparing you to run from the bear in the woods, which in our case is, oh my gosh, running to the school to get our kid and then trying to deal with our boss and the deadline, okay? So when that happens, when we're under stress, our body is calling for more cortisol. So what does that mean? Think of pregnenolone as like a big pie. There's only so much, right? And so instead of everybody getting their equal slice, cortisol's getting a bigger slice. It's getting a bigger slice of the pie. What does that mean in the short term? What it means in the short term is that you are producing less progesterone. Okay, less progesterone. And that means then the ratio of your estrogen to progesterone is off. Okay. And that can lead to symptoms of estrogen dominance, which is again, those kind of hot flashes, those menopausal symptoms, not feeling good. And it can also lead to weight gain. Why? Because when your body calls for cortisol, what it's basically doing is it's telling the body you need energy, right? So it's looking for glucose. And then again, this is very high level. I got some super sciencey charts here, but it's not necessary to know. What you need to know is when you're in fight or flight, your body calls for cortisol. Cortisol gives messages to the body to push more glucose into your bloodstream. And then your pancreas is releasing insulin. And insulin is really guiding, opening up your cells to get those glucose into your cells so that you have energy. Okay? It's this amazing process. So cortisol is super necessary. Insulin is super necessary. However, what happens in modern day society is that we're not actually physically running through the woods, right? In my masterclass, I use the example of Katniss, right? So Katniss, everybody know about Katniss? Give me a thumbs up if you know who Katniss is. Katniss was a character in the Hunger Games. I volunteer as tribute, and she was in a life or death situation, right? In a contest for her life. And so her cortisol is flooding, right? And she's actually running through woods and trees and trying to survive. But as modern day Katnisses, we're not doing that. So how does this relate to weight gain? This relates to weight gain because if you've got all this sugar that is in your bloodstream and then not really being used by your cells because there can be so much sugar there that after a while, your insulin, I think your insulin is like a key to unlock your cell door and escorting your glucose, your energy into the cell to be used. After a while, that key fob, that insulin just stops working. It's like when you go to unlock your car and the battery's dead, boom. It's not going to work. So where's the glucose going to go? It's not going into necessarily your cells for energy. It turns to fat. Fat storage takes place. So literally, if we are under chronic stress, it is giving energy to our body, which we're not always burning off, which causes fat storage, which causes weight gain. That's what's happening. Give me a thumbs up. Anybody got any questions on that? And even if you've got them on the replay, please ask them. Again, keeping this super, super high level. I don't want to get too techie on you, but literally that's what's happening. So for a lot of the women like Kat who come to me, they know they're under stress. And again, most women come to me because they want to lose weight. And then they also say, yes, I also want to get healthy too. And oh my gosh, I'm super stressed. I need to sleep more. So that's why stress management is a big principle of my program. Because when you're constantly under stressed and your brain is going all over the place and you're gaining weight and you're not sleeping well and whatever, you're not performing. You're not feeling good. You are not feeling healthy, sexy, strong, and fabulous, right? So again, we got to stop normalizing stress so much. We've got to create habits to help us overcome, being in a chronic state of stress. We got to move our body more because we got to burn off the blood glucose levels when we actually have this stress, right? So does this make sense? Netra, Suresh, everybody who's on right now, does this make sense? What I'm talking about, what I'm putting down? Okay, I'm going to assume it is here. Awesome. So let me go ahead and take this out for a second. So I want to flash this up because this shows basically other hormonal links to weight gain. And stress is definitely one of them. You can see down here, it says common causes of insulin resistance, which is what we just talked about, right? It's that key fob not working to open the car door. It is your insulin really not working anymore. It's not opening the cell to be able to get the glucose in to be used as energy, right? So insulin resistance was caused sedentary lifestyle, hormonal imbalance. We got that cortisol spiking, pregnenolone, right? It's being used to create more cortisol than it's being used to create progesterone or estrogen or testosterone. Because over time, at first, what happens is your progesterone goes down, but over time, your estrogen production, your DHEA production, and your testosterone production can also go down too. And that means your ratios, your yin and yangs for your hormones and how they're working together are out of balance. So I would talk about this here. If you are experiencing estrogen dominance, right, where are you seeing gain in your hips, thighs, and breasts? That's your estrogen is higher and your progesterone is lower. It's a ratio. I'm going to talk about thyroid tomorrow or Monday. I'm going to talk about androgen imbalances, but androgen, again, you're thinking about it's an imbalance, right? So if you're super stressed, you're pulling your progesterone can be out of balance in according to your testosterone and your DHEA. That's when you get things like, you can also look at things like PCOS, right? A lot of women suffer from that. So insulin resistance, metabolic syndrome, right? Weight gain in your belly, right? Higher cortisol, higher insulin that's not working the way it should. Your A1C number. Your A1C is basically a 3-month average of your blood sugar, in case you want to know what that is, and just high stress, right? And then also another thing that can impact your weight gain hormonally is vitamin D deficiency, right? And that's visceral fat gains. Visceral fat is, let me explain this. So if you pinch your waist, and can feel some fat, I'm sure we all can. I can too, right? That's really that subcutaneous fat, right? That's what we think of when we think about fat loss. Visceral fat is actually the fat that is around your organs, and it's in your spine, and it's in your brain, right? It's very protective because fat does serve very powerful purposes in the body. You got fat soluble vitamins, and it's a protective layer. But when you have too much visceral fat, or your toxic load is too high, that visceral fat can grow. That fat storage, your additional fat cells, they're not just because of too much insulin, but they're because there's too many maybe toxins in your body. And so your fat cells are created to surround that toxin and keep the rest of your body and your system safe. So visceral fat is that fat around your organs and your spine and in your brain. And when you get too much of that, that's a problem. That is definitely an issue. So lots of hormonal links tied to weight gain, not just the ones that you might normally think of. Okay. Any questions on this? Go ahead and drop them in the comments. So we're about 20 minutes in today. If you are just joining today's live stream, the topic is basically how to de-stress and drop 2 gene sizes so that you can feel fabulous. And this is 3 things that I'm going to be talking about over the next couple of days. It's going to be talking about stress and your impact on hormones, stress and your impact on blood sugar, stress and your impact on thyroid. Okay. So we're really focusing on hormones today. So I want to go back over here for a second. I'm really loving this feature. So let me do this. So anchor setting, parasympathetic nervous system activities and anchor setting. Okay. This is what we're talking about here. Hey, Megan, thanks for being on, girl. I love it. So here's what we need to talk about. Your central nervous system, right? We shouldn't always be so nervous. One of my really good friends, Lindsay, who Megan knows, she teaches that, and I love that. So your central nervous system has 2 parts, right? It has your sympathetic nervous system side and your parasympathetic nervous system side. I mentioned this a few minutes ago. Your sympathetic nervous system side is your fight or flight, and that is what is chronically activated when you are under stress, and it causes all these hormonal interactions that ultimately do cause weight gain and can lead to long-term issues. Your rest and relax is the other side. It is the opposite reaction to this HPA axis dysfunction I was talking about, where you get the signals in your body, hypothalamus, pituitary gland, and adrenals, right? These are basically your little control centers that are telling your body what to do, right? So your adrenals, your pituitary gland, super, super important in terms of insulin related activity. So you're super stressed, right? The HPA axis is telling you, push cortisol, slow down digestion, slow down any activities due to reproduction. Why? Because if you're running for your life, you don't need to eat and you don't need to be making babies, right? Your body is in a state of stress. It feels unsafe. Now, here's where we all kind of mess up. When we're staying chronically stressed, we're not causing that reverse feedback loop mechanism to go on, which is the parasympathetic side of your nervous system, the rest and relax mode. See how I'm calming down already? Rest and relax mode. So one of the first things that I teach my clients is something called anchor setting. Because anchor setting is when you simply take your phone Okay. And set an alarm on it for every couple of hours. And every couple of hours, when that alarm goes off, you don't hit snooze. You actually kind of stop what you're doing and you get up, you walk around a little bit, you're trying to shift your focus in your brain, and you take some deep, calming breaths. You can do it right now if you want, right? Just close your eyes, right? Get your feet flat on the floor, put your hands on your lap, close your eyes, and I want you to breathe in for 5, and I want you to breathe out for 7. Just try it one time with me and see how it feels. You ready? Do you feel better already? I do. And that whooshing sound is important too. That whooshing sound is a soothing sound for your body. Okay, it's a soothing sound. So when you do these anchor setting points and you take even as 5 minutes to do some deep breathing, walk around, change your focus, it immediately calms your nervous system. Basically, anything that you do that makes you feel happy, safe, and loved activates your PNS, your rest and relax mode. So you're telling your body it's safe now. The bear's not chasing you through the woods. Katniss, you got no more people chasing you in the Hunger Games movie. And you can put aside those emails for a few minutes. And setting those anchor points at a couple hours throughout the day remind us to do that. I actually have an Apple Watch that when my anchor points go off, I click the mindfulness app and I can do a 1-minute deep breathing exercise. Here's the thing. I'm going to tell you this and you're not going to do it. Why? Why aren't you going to do it? You're not going to do it because it's going to sound so easy. Jen, that can't possibly work. I'm not going to prioritize that. Let me tell you. The simplest things are best, right? The simplest things are best. Would you rather go on a prescription for high blood pressure? Would you rather fight losing 20 pounds of stubborn, hormone imbalance gained weight? Or would you rather just calm down and walk around the block and take some deep breaths? It's a no-brainer. Plus, when you get back and you start doing your activities again, boom, you're just going to feel so much better. You're going to be so much more clear-headed. The person that you're meeting with is going to thank you, right? Your family will thank you. You will be a nicer person. You will be calmer. You will be able to think through situations. You will be able to react in a less emotional and impulsive manner and be able to have the brain space to be able to think things through. Okay, does that make sense? So I got 2 minutes left. 2 minutes left. And so again, just like my friend Kat, right? She finished the program. She felt absolutely amazing. And, she's got some great habits now. So we're going into this really busy time of the year, right? It's coming up. The holidays are almost here, right? I don't want to scare anybody, but it's happening. So my doors for Fatigue to Fabulous, my 90-day program, where I focus on nutrition and I focus on stress management and I focus on toxicity. Sorry, I'm trying to find the right slide here. When I focus on all these things, 90-day program, door to door. Come in September, you're done at the end of November. You could be rolling into December feeling absolutely fan-freaking-tastic, 10, 20, 30 pounds less, have some great habits in place, have some great tools in place. Yes, you can still eat Thanksgiving dinner and enjoy yourself, but be feeling great for the holidays and be, little black dress ready if you choose to go out on New Year's Eve. Feeling good for all the holiday pictures. So instead of gaining weight over the holidays, you could be maintaining or even losing more weight, right? So it's really a win-win. And look, the holidays are stressful. I don't care who you are. The holidays are stressful. You're dealing with relatives and the weird uncle that's at the Christmas dinner table or whatever it is, right? So you need to have tools and techniques and habits in place to help you deal with all that. And that's what I do. So ladies, even the gents, I've got a couple gents in my program right now, but ladies, almost all the stress for the holidays falls on us, right? It's a true statement. It is. Sorry, guys. It's true, right? So how about you invest this time now? get yourself under control. If you're one of those people there's like, I just want to be told what to do and do it and held accountable, I'll tell you what to do. I have no problem with that. I'll tell you what to do because I'll give you a great plan. We'll have great accountability. We'll check in frequently, right? I'll give you what you need. And I'll even, my coaching style, a little hug them and kick them, right? What do I mean by that? I'm going to love on you and support on you when you need it. And when you get off track, I'm going to gently give you a kick in the pants to get you back in place, right? Because that's what we need. So tomorrow we are going to talk about blood sugar, and we'll probably get into thyroid. We'll probably have time. If not, I'll do that one on Monday. But again, I just want you to think about it. Doors are open for Fatigue to Fabulous. I would love to have you as part of it. You could be a great success story, just like my friend Kat. And this information today, if you found value in this, please go to the little button on your LinkedIn, share this live, make a comment on it. Tell the people in your network why you should watch this. Hey guys, we're all too stressed. Take a listen to this, understand what's going on your body and how easy it can be to start to reverse that. Do that. I would so appreciate it. And this information is needed because why? This information impacts the top 3 causes of death that we're still dealing with: heart disease, stroke, and diabetes, right? Let's try and do our part to reverse this trend. Okay. So thank you so much for joining. Megan, my girl, thank you so much. If you haven't checked out Megan McCaleb's profile, she's got an amazing speaker event coming up. I will comment her link to one of her posts in there, or Megan, please go ahead and drop it. Just absolutely. She's brilliant. She's an improv trained comic who has this amazing series called Yes and to help with communication and leadership and all the things, no matter if you're a corporate leader, a mom, a business professional, entrepreneur, whatever. So Megan, shout out to you and all that you do. So everybody, thank you so much for joining, and I will see you same time, same place tomorrow.